On Monday, President Obama reversed the Bush administration's restriction on federal funding for stem cell research, much to the delight of my next guest, the host of the Ron Reagan Show on Air America, Ron Reagan. Give him a big round of applause. Good to talk to you, Ron. So, would you
talk to you? Happy to be here.
Thank you. Glad you're here. Now, thank you. What did you think when you first heard that the president was going to allow federal funding for stem cells?
Well, this is great news. He promised this during the campaign, and he delivered this past Monday. It's great news for the scientists who've been working so hard on this sort of thing. It's even better news for people who suffer from Parkinson's disease, diabetes, or have spinal injuries, things like that. There is potential now for cures using embryonic stem cells. You know, the funding, the federal funding, had been held up for years. We just sort of spun our wheels because of George Bush and his political agenda, and now we can move forward. But there's still work to be done. Congress still has to reform some of the laws that it continually renews every year since 1996 that will actually restrict federal funds still from being used to develop new stem cell lines. Once they're developed, the federal funds can be used to do research on them, but they can't be originally developed with federal funds yet, unless Congress does its job.
Do you think that President Bush's opposition to stem cells was ideological or political, or just, was it religious, or did he just try to use that as a political wedge?
Well, I can't read his mind. He may have sincerely had religious objections to stem cell research, but I'm pretty sure that Karl Rove saw it as a political issue, and he told some people that visited him in his office a few years back just that. So that's a pretty shameful thing. If you sincerely believe for religious reasons that this is wrong, that's one thing, but to use this as a political football is just shameful.
Now, your mother actually broke with members of the Republican Party, and she'd always been in support of stem cell research. As a matter of fact, she released a statement. I'm very grateful for President Obama has enlisted the restrictions on federal funding for embryonic stem cell research. These new rules will now make it possible for scientists to move forward. So she's obviously very happy about this.
Everybody's very happy on our family. Well, all but one. My brother's not too happy. He's on the other side, but
there's always one.
There's always one in every family. There's got to be one, but the rest of us are pretty happy about it.
Now, how did that feel? She definitely, and you too, to some extent, have drawn the ire of members of the Republican Party by you did cross lines, and this is kind of unusual for people to kind of dissent that way, don't you think?
Well, I've never been a Republican, so I don't care much if the Republicans objected to the way I feel about things. She may have had a little harder time with that, but
right.
You know, it's interesting when you look at this issue. You know, it's a little like the abortion issue or gay marriage. There's only one side that's trying to tell everybody else what they can and can't do.
Right.
I mean, my feeling is if you don't want to avail yourself of treatments or therapies that might be derived from embryonic stem cells, if you have diabetes or your child has diabetes, let's say, you're free to not do that.
Right.
You know, that's fine. But don't be telling the rest of us, the 70% of America that wants this research
right.
to go forward with federal funds, don't be telling us what to do.
You know what's so funny? When I hear people arguing about it's a right-to-life issue, it seems that we only care about lives till they get here, and then we don't care about them at all. And that's amazing to me. Like, we'll send you to war, we'll give you the death penalty, but we want you to be born. Those arguments kind of have always never made sense to me. Now, what happens to states like California that already have approved funding for stem cell? Like, they've already approved that they're kind of ahead of the curve on this. What happens for them?
Well, the federal funds, of course, will be available there too. The worry in California, where private money is being used to develop embryonic stem cells, is that some of that private money might now dry up, and I hope that doesn't happen because we can use as much money as you know, as possible to push this sort of revolutionary technology forward. You know, this has the potential to revolutionize medicine. You could have your own essentially personal repair kit for your body that's derived from your own cells.
So how does that work specifically? I'm a little fuzzy on how, like you say that you can have your own personal repair kit. How does that work?
Well, let's say you have diabetes, so cells in your pancreas are not producing insulin the way they should. So we take one of your skin cells, we develop a line of embryonic stem cells based on that. We turn those embryonic stem cells into pancreatic cells that actually function correctly and produce insulin. We put those into your pancreas and voila, the hope is you're cured. It could be just that simple in a few years, but we have to do the research to find out.
But is it one of the concerns from a lot of religious people, the ability to take those and make human clones out of them, which I think a lot of people would have a problem with?
Well, yes, including me and including every scientist who's now working with embryonic stem cells.
Because I only need one me, Ron. Only one me.
The world only needs one you, Dion.
Hey, wait.
I think there's only room in the world for one of you. It would be too much if there were more.
Hey, you've gone far enough. But that is a legitimate concern by some people.
Nobody is trying to do that. This is a red herring that's been thrown out there by people who object to this, these sorts of things. But nobody is trying to clone human beings. That's an entirely different effort, and there'd be no purpose for it in the first place. So that is not a worry.
Thank you, Ron, for coming to do the show. We appreciate it. Give Ron Reagan a big round of applause. Thank you very much.